Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, adab. I'm your host Bandana Jain, and today I'm going to welcome you to the very first episode of Yovza Talks on Construction Messups. Today we have a very special guest with us. He is a pathbreaker in the construction industry. He has contributed 30 crucial years of his life to the Gulf region, and he is none other than Mr. Sanjay Tripathi, the Managing Director, Astrid Oasis Group of Companies. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sanjay. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Hello.
Today we have lots of things to converse with Mr. Sanjay, but before we move ahead, let us take a brief insight into your entrepreneurial journey, when you started, and how you've reached where you are today.
First of all, I would like to express it's a great honor to be in your first episode, and it's a privilege for us as a Astrid Group. We all start with the basics. That means we just start as soon as we come out of the college, we join a job, and then we start picking up our experience and our knowledge from the industry where we are. And of course, with a particular background and specialization in a particular field, you always tend to remain yourself in that. So that's how I started. But my idea was always to get into the market and then look at technical and commercial combined. So slowly I got into the areas where I was not specialized when it comes to commercial. And later on, I got into I upgraded my educational background with MBA and commercial as well, apart from being an engineer. So that gave me exposure where I found that, okay, I can do things on my own and can develop an industry which can be useful considering my background and my area of expertise. And I have spent most of my time into the same field for continuously 25 years, which is GRP and GRC. And that was the area of my interest. So that's where I started with my setup. And then, of course, I came across here. We know that this part of the world, the construction is a very common activity. So I felt that, yes, both go hand in hand. So it's like a symbiosis. The one always caters to the other. So that's how we entered into construction as well as the manufacturing. So as on date, yes, we are yet to achieve what we want. We have just started. It's not like we have got a lot of success, but we are growing company. We have just started and initiated our presence, and we expect and hope to grow in the coming years with the same pace.
Okay, that's wonderful, Mr. Sanjay. It's so nice to hear about your experience. So let us move into our first round, which is the professional round, as we say. And here we are going to talk to Mr. Sanjay about his professional experience, about his risk-taking, his leadership ideas, etc., etc. So, Mr. Sanjay, when we talk about any kind of business, we feel that risks are an integral part of a business. So what is your take on risks and how do you approach them?
To be honest, if you start your journey from a normal employment as an employee, still you carry a lot of risk with you. In fact, it's all hidden risk, and you are not exposed to that unless and until you are really into the field, and then you are facing people, and then you are having the responsibility from the organization, and you have a target. You have to come out with the efficient output. So all these things, already you are into that. It's like you are already exposed to these things, although it's not directly affecting you. It's not directly making or giving you a sleepless nights, but you are already carrying it on your shoulders. You really need to be at least you have to have a good sense of risk management or risk analysis, and that includes not just the commercial part, which is the major factor, which every one of us, when we get into it, we just start looking at the figures. We also run into the risk which is known as the technical execution, which means whether your product or your services are going to perform to the expected levels, or are they going to fail, and ultimately you will end up in losing the clients and losing your future growth. So the environment also influences a lot. Like say for example, if the market is big and you don't have a very strict law and order and very strict compliance activities, you will be ending up in managing your way in a different mode where you don't have too much of a risk and you are still getting a better profit and better margin because the market is large. But in this part of the world, we have a very strong and very strict compliance factors, which includes from your entire setup of your employees, their benefits, their activities, up to the responsibilities of delivering the goods to your consumer, to your customer. And everyone will take you to a task. So it includes your employee as well. And it doesn't, you cannot escape them. So these are the areas where you really need to invest your time and thoughts, and then you take a step forward. Otherwise, suddenly you will find that you are into a situation where you have taken too much than what you can really carry on your shoulders. And each stage requires a real assessment and checking into the details whether the idea of doing or executing this project or this particular venture is really giving a benefit to your customers and to the employees.
So that means risk-taking calls for a lot of foresight and assessment and analysis.
Yes.
Prior to doing the jobs.
Yes, external factors as well as internal factors. It's a very much very important factor. You cannot really go blindly into the field and just say that okay, things will come on its own. It won't. They are going to hit you first, and if you have observed or if you have experience and you have seen these things, you will be able to. You have to build up your walls and your strategy.
Absolutely.
That can protect you.
Yes. So what are the values that actually drive your business or your entrepreneurship?
See, the values are basically, it is all individual. The basic idea is that how you want to characterize your values. Say, for example, you want to you enjoy having a integrity among your employees, and you want to achieve it by being curious that okay, this is my product or this I'm doing it regularly, but then why can't I just develop in this? So your curiosity, your development, your integrity factor, your desire to really help out your customer, not just in terms of commercial values, but in terms of his expectations and his long-term solutions, in terms of what specialization or what experience you have, because many times customers are just new for your area or your field or your services. But for me, these were few of them which we tried to go ahead with.
Okay. So what was your process of finding out the why in your business or in your life?
Every time when you are looking at things and when you try to figure out that okay, what is wrong here, or why you want to do this, and what is the issue, you always have to focus on your end result, which means what is the purpose. Suppose you want to employ 10 people in your department in a, say for example, in a marketing. So what is the purpose? I mean, are you really, because people are having very different vague concepts, like they think that if I employ 5 people, I get more volume of business. Then some will think that okay, if I put in 3 people, then 2 of them will be like a backup for the 3. Or there are many reasons. So the whole idea is that you should always look for a purpose in your step that you want to take, the way you want to proceed, or the next stage you want to reach. So it's always the idea of what is the end result, what is the purpose, and how you want to achieve those technical specialties. So that's how we have been interacting, and that's how for it is generalized for every uh, sector, whether it is your market or whether it is your internal HR or whether it is your own work which is nothing related to your business.
Okay. When we talk about entrepreneurship, actually, challenges again are a big thing.
Yeah.
And none of the enterprises are actually free of challenges.
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced?
In fact, we continue facing challenges every day. It's
a part and parcel of every organization.
Exactly. So not only that, it comes like every day you have new challenges. Every day you get into something new, which and most of the things also depends upon the industry in which you are based in. So, for example, in construction industry, a lot of things are streamlined, and you know that what are the activities one after the other. But at times there are issues like design issues, like technical issues, where you need to resolve those problems at site or at your work. Many times people don't expect that these are the problems that may come up. So the major challenges that I had was, apart from your financial issues which comes up, which is very common, which I mean even your wife will face maybe sometimes. So the thing is that in the industry, when you are stepping into it, you have the major challenge comes from your client, and another major challenge comes from your employees, how they are performing and how you are able to get the best out of them, how you can motivate them to get into. Now this area was really, despite having all the exposures and knowing people and trying to understand them, still it was very difficult at times to really get the best out of some people, and stopping somebody from not doing their best. It's like either ways. So there are many of them who are so enthusiastic that they will make sure that the things are done in a better way, but at the same time, many times you'll find that that is a waste of resources. You don't need that much of paperwork, you don't need that much of time to be wasted on such stuff, but then the person is very particular, no, I cannot, I have to go through this step. So the basic challenge lies in how you optimize your resources to get the maximum output. And that's where we, most of the times, the guy who succeeds, he gets a better deal for his growth. And in our case, yes, I mean, at times I did succeed, at times I was a total disaster or a failure because of various factors that we came across. And the challenges that we face from external environment is definitely those you should be keeping it as a reserve. I can say it should be like you should expect them. Many times there will be things which you will not expect that the trend in the market will go into it, or you will face a competition from somebody who is just coming and making the things in an entirely different formula or with a different type of activity, because ours is a labor oriented industry. So when you have a lot of labors and a lot of skill factors come into it, you don't have machines which are giving you the constant output. So the biggest challenge lies in getting a constant output from the skill based laborers or people or the employees who are of different size, different quality, different mindset, different background, and trying to mold them into your culture, into your organization, into the needs that your organization needs. So these are the issues which you have to be prepared to make sure that your employees, they imbibe that, and then only you will be getting that output. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
So how, as the head of your company, how have you attempted to overcome these challenges?
See, the main factor that we all have to understand is that we cannot do everything ourselves. It's not possible. Every time you cannot be one-man army. You need people who can do your task, who can be your eyes and ears, who can be your strength and your weakness. So at the end of the day, you have to invest in your people. and give those people the authority, the input that they need, the space that they need. You cannot sit saying that, okay, from 7 to 5 I need you here, where were you at this time and what you were doing at this time. To be honest, this doesn't work. So at the end of the day, the person in whom you are investing and you expect him to function the way you want, or he should be a part of yourself, which means he has to have your freedom.
Yes.
So this is the basic concept which we can invest in our employees. And there are people, not that everybody is capable of grasping that concept and really getting the resources utilized in the optimum way, but there are definitely many of them who do understand that concept and who like to have, who look at themselves as a future entrepreneurial or guys who can run the show. So they will be definitely keen on running around and doing the things exactly what you want. So you need to really pick up your team the way you want, simply by making sure that you have to give your time, you have to give your invest your technology in them, you need to train them, you need to discuss with so many things are there, and at the end of the day you never know, tomorrow they are not there with you, it's all gone, but still you have to trust and you have to go ahead with that. That's how the world should move. I mean, it's not like something that I have gained and I have experienced and it cannot be shared or passed on to anybody else. It should be, and it's always that's how the growth and that's how the people really generate improve upon. So there are people who are coming better than me, who know better than me, so if they share my ideas, they come up with better ideas, and that's how the things really goes ahead.
Absolutely. So when you were faced with such challenges, how did you react to them? Like, were you facing them alone, or did you enlist others' help to deal with them? How did it go?
Okay. See, whenever there is a challenge for, especially for the entrepreneurs, those who are investing their money and running a company, to be honest, no matter how many people you have around you, you have to face. That's it. Nobody else is there around you. So those challenges will come and hit you only. Others are only there to follow what you want from them. They will be nice enough to help you. They can hold your hand, they can hold you, but they cannot give you the strength and power to stand up and take decision and face the things. So when these things come up, the basic factor is, like, you see, many times in industry also you should be philosophical. Like, you should, the first statement that I learned from my parents was that every day is not going to be Sunday. Every day is not going to be the same day. So this concept immediately tells you that, okay, whatever challenges are there, it's not going to remain tomorrow. Either it will become worse or it will become better.
Yes.
So the changes are bound to happen. Now, your job is to make sure that how you face it. When you are looking at the challenges, remember one thing: the moment you start taking the pressure, you lose your capacity to think for a solution. You need to simply take it as any other activity. Today you have eaten a food which is not good. The taste is bad because the restaurant guy, the cook made a bad food, or you walked into the wrong restaurant. You still need to fill your stomach and just move out. So here the challenge is there. What best you can do, you have to face it in a very, very calm way. Plan your strategies, see the risk, where you're falling, how you can. There are always, there will be one or the other way out. So definitely you need to look at it with this concept that things keep changing, and you need to really attend it with whatever best resource you can.
Okay.
And you should also know who are the best people. It will not be you. There will be a best team who can attend to these.
Okay.
And you have to allocate them.
So we have learned from you that keeping a positive attitude is really mandatory to go through the challenges. Now, what is it that you are most proud of?
To be honest, when I started with my setup, with my industry, it was not because I was commercially very strong person. For me, it was only that I'm a technical person. So basically, I feel great or I feel good about only one factor, which is that the technical issues which comes up for my clients in the field where I'm specialized, for example, in GRP, GRC, that definitely I'm able to solve their problems without any third party help. And that gives them a great satisfaction. And that is something which I'm proud of. Because of my experience, and continuously being in that field, it has given me that much of strength that it really helps my client. And when they are really satisfied and when they see that, yes, the things are turning better for them, and that's something really gives you satisfaction and you feel good about it.
So that's phenomenal. And how do you maintain this positive attitude actually? Where you just think that, okay, things are not going well, but still you continue to keep a positive attitude. Is there any one way to do that?
See, you have to remember your history. If you dig out, most of us, if we just dig out our past and just try to remember where all we were failing and why we were failing, you will easily find that wherever you have kept yourself in a positive mode and you have stood up and you have faced the problem, you have confronted them and gone ahead, you have succeeded most of the time.
Okay.
So your history will really teach you. It is nothing else. You don't even need to go and take lessons from anybody. You just need to remember what you have done and how you came out with the problems, and everybody in his life has a problem. There's no one who can say that, okay, I'm without problems. So definitely he cannot succeed if he has no problems in his life. So when the problems start coming in, that's how you start learning. So this attitude has to be there in every young, fresh individuals, or even the people who are into the situation where it's like every day it's like they have to face the issues one or the other.
Okay. So, how do you measure your success against your goals?
It all, again, what are your goals? When you set it up, some people, they have, like, the goal is never ending. It just goes on and on and on. You do one step, then you need something more, then you want to expand in this, and then you go for another manufacturing. Then you want to, like, so far you've been buying this product, why not start this? And we end up. So a lot of things are there. But as far as my personal case is concerned, I can tell you that I am yet to achieve even 10% of my goal, to be honest. Our goals are very high, and achieving those goals takes a lot of effort and time. And since in my generation I have just started with myself, it was never, my family background is only on education, like my father is a teacher, and we are coming from a very average middle class family. So the goals that we set is different. When I say that I have a goal of a very different setup, but then it takes time. It will take, it doesn't work overnight. There is no shortcut, to be honest. Everything comes on its way. So every step you have to climb and you have to take, and then only you can get on. So if you want to really survive for a long term, for a short term, yes, you can always take a shortcut, but then it doesn't last long. So as of now, I can say only 10% of my goal is really achieved. I'm yet to achieve a lot. I hope that I
wish
have
you
that
all the very best.
I have
And
that time.
before we wind up this round, I would like to know, what kind of advice would you give to the budding entrepreneurs or to people who are planning to take a step into this industry?
Here I will say that someone who, it's a very good thing to get into as an entrepreneur, but one major risk that you enter into is, which you should really look at, is your environment, which means your resources and your environment. It's very easy to think that, okay, business has a lot of money and there is a lot of output and you can become, wealth is there and you can have an easy life. No, that's not the case. When you come, you have to understand that you are entering a wrestling where there are people who are going to beat you up, and you should be ready to beat them up if necessary to survive. Now, this is the scenario when you are coming from a spectator's side. You are sitting and watching that things are going good in the company because you are employee. So many times, okay, things are bad, okay, it is bad, it is good, it is good. But when you are in the shoes of running the show, you need to be really, really prepared for all the difficulties, and once you are through with that, then you will find that it's not too difficult for you to get into growth, because you will know what is the solution to what. And my basic suggestion will be that you should try to update yourself or upgrade yourself with the latest technology, with the latest education and information which is running. In today's world, that is a very, very important factor.
So we heard lots of pearls of wisdom from Mr. Sanjay, and with this we come to the end of the professional round. We'll see you again in the second round, which is the fun round. Welcome back to Yovza Talks on Construction Messups. We have been in conversation with Mr. Sanjay Tripathi, and we took lots of insights into his professional round, his professional life. And now we are in the next round, which is the fun round. So we are going to ask him lots of fun questions, and we should be having lots of fun with that. So moving ahead, Mr. Sanjay, your first question is, if you were stranded on a deserted island and you were allowed to carry only one item with you, what would that be?
Well, I'll consider I should carry some, because it's a deserted island, so definitely I need some container with me where I can just collect things. And that's the only way to survive there.
Okay, great. What, according to you, is the closest thing to magic?
To see a child grow and walk and then run, basically. And that's how your corporate or your company does. So when you start your setup.
I love your outlook. That's fantastic. Yes.
That is a real magic. It's like when we start, we run for the market for business, and then suddenly we see that people are calling us for quoting or taking the business.
Okay. So what is the best and the worst purchase that you have ever made? First, the best one.
Well, the best purchase, I will still label it a toy for my daughter, a Barbie doll for her. That is the best purchase that I can do, because it took me just 2 hours to decide which one she was selecting, which one she wants.
Okay.
And the worst purchase is, I'm always bad at my own purchases. That means if I go and buy, there are many of my stuff, and it's just one of my, it will be either one of my shirts or one of my shoes, something that I get it on my own.
Okay.
So these are always horrible if I take decisions. So that is why I always have my procurement guy deciding even the TV which I should buy or the computer that I should use.
So I think you need a border stylist.
Somebody.
So if you owned a yacht or a boat of yours, then what would you name it?
To be honest, as on date, I will name it as Astrid.
That's a good one, quite naturally. And what makes you angry, if at all?
Oh yes, I do get angry at times, many times. Many times I get angry. The only the thing is that nothing else makes me angry other than my own self, because it's my reaction to the issues. And yes, anger management is a real skill which one should have. So at times I do get angry when the things don't go according to my expectations, and it can hit you back badly. So when you know that yes, it's going to hit you back, that's when you get angry. Okay, there's a wrong way of doing it, and you get angry. But otherwise, yes, you should never really look at it, anything with anger. Then only you can set it right.
Yes. So that was a fun round with Mr. Sanjay, and we shall move into our rapid fire round very soon with more factors of fun. So look forward to seeing you soon. Welcome back to Yovza Talks on Construction Messups, and we are already into our round 3, which is the rapid fire round. So rapid fire round, as the name suggests, Mr. Sanjay, I'm going to ask you certain questions very rapidly, and you are supposed to be answering them, possibly with some fun in it. So the very first question is, what is your favorite thing in your closet right now?
Oh, it's a photograph of my daughter.
Wow. You really love her. Who would you play the part in the movie of your life? So if there's a movie on yourself, who would you ask to play your role?
Oh, of course, in our Hindi cinema, Bollywood, we have Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. Yes, I will be more than happy.
So it's like a legend choosing another legend.
Not at all, he's too big for us.
If you weren't in the construction industry, what would you be doing?
I would have been a teacher. That's what I find myself good at. That's what even my employees say.
The
Keep
most
on teaching.
noble profession.
Yeah, they just listen. I keep on talking, teaching.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
I want car.
Wow.
That's what we used to say when we were kids.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
That's a wonderful choice. And last but the most important, if you had one superpower, what would that be?
Oh, I would love to just fly as high I can. Because they are the most... It's like about absolute freedom, when the birds, they just fly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute freedom.
So that was Mr. Sanjay, his professional, his fun side. We all saw and we all learned from it. I hope you had lots of fun. And with this, we close today's episode of Yovza Talks on Construction Messups. We shall be coming around with more industry experts in our upcoming episodes. So stay tuned, keep watching, stay happy, stay blessed. This is Bandana signing off until we meet again in our next episode of Yovza Talks on Construction Messups.